Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the Certified Podcast, and I'm your host, Mike Ginn. Those are some words I didn't think I'd probably ever say again, but here we are, season two. Season one, of course, a couple years ago, we did a nice little run. We're back now. Everything's rolling. DCXIV is the network. Go on the YouTube page. You can find all of season one, find other stuff that we're doing. But the reason we're here today is for a very special reason. We are back, and this is season two. I got a few episodes in the pipeline, so hopefully we'll get this one rolling and keep it going for a good quite while. Joining me today is a good friend of mine. Known this guy probably, I guess, about 8 years now. I think, 2012. Yeah, 2012, 8 years. It's going by a few different names. Jorel Blu is the one you can find him by. Man, this guy does everything. Music, art, photography, directing, man. This guy does it all, and he does it all well, so definitely excited to sit down and talk to him. But as you guys know, before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. 2 quick actions. Let us know you're watching. Let us know you're paying attention. Let us know that you care. And help sponsors find us so, hopefully we can keep the lights on around here. But without any further ado, let me introduce my guest, Jorel Blu. Jorel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a long time since we were able to do this thing, get it all set up, get it going.
For sure. I feel like this is the first time we ever vocally talked.
Probably. Yeah, I think so. A lot of emails, a lot of social media.
Yeah, for sure.
Those that don't know what the hell we're talking about, if you go on dcxiv.com and search Jorel Blu or Ambition Lifestyle, I think that might still be on there as well. All that comes up. We covered him back when he was, I don't know, how long had you been performing at that point?
At that point in 2012, maybe 4 or 5 years before that, about
pretty early.
Yeah,
pretty early in his career. We were, he was doing some stuff with a partner, and we stumbled upon an album called Item 9. I don't know if you guys sent it to me or I found it on my own, but I was definitely impressed. I know there was a couple, especially coming off Training Day. You had that King Kong track. That was insane.
No, I appreciate that. I think it was definitely a blog thing because 2 Dope Boys used to post all our stuff all the time. I don't know if you were on the blogs like that, but I
pay attention to everything.
It probably was through that because because I don't know, my Facebook following, all that, it was really that Instagram that really got that project moving like that.
2012 was right when. So I started off with Pure Style DC. That was my big launching pad, 2007 to 2011, 12-ish. And right around 2012 was when I was like, all right, I'm tired of the same old. And I'm going to do Ambition Lifestyle, which has always kind of been my motto, my creed. I own the website. I've owned it forever, trademarked it, all that stuff. And I kind of went with that, and it just, never kind of reignited the fire that I wanted at the time. And I know well, being an artist and being, everything, sometimes that passion, that's your biggest challenge sometimes.
I feel like I went hiatus with you though. I kind of feel like at the same time, I think you slowed down and I slowed down. And I think this year
so
we kind of
okay.
Nah. It was a parallel thing. It was just I think we were kind of going through the same thing. I mean, I don't know your full story, but it was I got to a point where it's just I was doing stuff and things weren't moving, and I felt I had a kid and I had all these things. I'm just I really got to focus on some other things right now that are really going to get my family ahead. And then when I, now that I'm comfortable and everything's going well, I can pull back and just refocus and do things and do it in the way that I want to do it. So there's a lot, but
we'll get into all that. One thing about Certified, it's not really an interview, it's more of a conversation. I don't know, a lot of people out there, I always compare it to Joe Rogan. You're gonna sit there, jump into a couple of questions, but then it just kind of flows. So we'll definitely get to all that. Not gonna spend the whole time talking about 2012. We'll definitely talk about some of the really cool stuff you got going on right now. One of the reasons actually I wanted to get you on is because here you are, 2012, and like you said, you took a hiatus. One thing I really miss, and like I said, I understand as somewhat of an artist myself. Mine's more technical, yours more creative. But man, you had this YouTube series for a while where you were doing these movie reviews. and it was probably the best show on there. And you went through, I don't know. I mean, look, I've been very much on record over the years. I've suffered from depression. I've suffered from other things.
Yeah.
And you went through a cycle. I'm not going to label it, whatever you can call it, what you want to call it. And you just deleted the whole damn thing. You took every episode.
I didn't know you were following
had thousands of views, and you just like, nah, I'm just deleting them all.
Wow. Yeah, I had no idea you were paying attention to that. Yeah, man. Like,
and I told you at the time I was paying attention. I was like, why you do that? You're like, no, it'll be back, and it never came back.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I really didn't think that the YouTube impact was like that. You know, I felt like overall, like there was just a lot of strangers, like a lot of like new subscribers that were like, you know, into what I was doing. I didn't know that people that listened to my music were actually there with me as well. Like, you're not the first person to tell me that this year. And man,
creatively, you and I have always vibed, so it's always you said parallel, but
yeah. I you know, I did the YouTube thing because it's just I really do have a love and passion for movies, and I used to watch like AMC Movie Talk and Collider, like, you know, Screen Junkies. I was a big fan of like the honest trailers, and I remember always watching those commentary channels and thinking, damn, like they didn't make this point, they didn't say this thing. Like, man, I was like, I feel like if I was to do my own channel, like I would have like a unique perspective, like I could say something a little bit different. Like I feel like I watch things in a different way. Like at least that's what I thought. And when I did the channel and it was moving quick, I think by my 4th video, like that one got like 20,000 views. And I was like, what is going on? And it kept rolling. And I just found myself like, man, as much as I'm getting the plays, like the subscribers are not matching. Like, and again, I was just like defeating myself. Like I was like, oh, I got to change it up. Instead of me just allowing it to kind of just roll with what it is. And just, if I'm going to make changes, keep it to myself, do it in the background. But you know, like there was a lot going on, man. Like you said, like there was a lot of like when I started realizing all my mental health concerns and how I used to get like anxiety attacks and panic attacks, and I'll edit something and then right in the end of it be like, I'm not posting this. And I got to a point where you really have to just like not care so much about that and overthink it.
Trust me, as a perfectionist, I get that.
Yeah. And I just was like, I was really hard on myself. And I remember like my girlfriend was just like, she's like, but you're good and people like it and whatever. And it's like, that just wasn't enough for me. It was just a feeling that I wanted and I didn't get it. And then after some time I changed it up, did some other stuff. And I ended up flying to California. Screen Junkies invited me on to do like a movie fight, which was nuts. Like that was like it was like everything was making sense. But I think when I was out there, opened my eyes to a lot. And like, even though that they were on top of the world, and I hate to put their business out there, but it was like, they didn't really give me the vibe that they were exactly happy with what they were doing. And it was just almost like, looking a peek behind the curtain that I didn't want to see. Like, I was like, oh man, like y'all seem to be, they're like, yeah, but it's hard because of this and this and that. And it was just like, I wasn't getting the vibe, like, this is where you want to be. It wasn't like, you know, you could be on top of the world. Like, and I remember just thinking like, man, I was already feeling that way. And this kind of like confirms what I was feeling. And I just allowed a lot of my negative thoughts and things take control of me. And I regret a lot, man, if I'm being transparent.
Let me ask you this, because this is just me personally. I don't know if you do the same thing, but sometimes they say people are afraid to succeed. And sometimes when you do succeed, then you become even more your harshest critic. And then, for instance, when I did the first run of Certified, every intro, because it was all audio only, so I didn't have to, like, this is one take. It is what it is. If I screw up, I screw up. Like you said, sometimes you just got to let stuff go. Be in video now this time. But the first time in audio, I would redo that intro on the show, like, hey, welcome to Certified. This is Mike Ginn, blah, blah, blah. 80, 90 times.
Yeah.
Every little like hiccup, I would just do it again. Do it again. And then, you know, you're talking about an hour, 2 hours, like time just flying by that you're just wasting trying to be a perfectionist. Instead, and then you look online, and this is what gets me, and maybe it gets you too. When you look online and you see a YouTube video, like you said, Screen Junkies, whoever else,
effortless,
not just effortless, but you see their flaws and they don't care. And
that too.
They just keep going. They're like, we screwed up, ha ha ha, keep going. And in my mind, I'm like, retake, do that shit again, try to be professional, try to be perfect. And it took a long time for me to get over that. But I will say you're the inspiration for one thing, and you can see it right now. I don't know if I'll do like you did with having the screen and having the different like movie trailers and videos and stuff like that. But you're definitely the inspiration of why I have the screen in the background. Because if
Oh,
I ever
dope.
do, you used to always have that on your videos.
Yeah,
You used to
yeah,
always do it, and you put something cool on there, whether it be the trailer or whatever you were talking about. And I
yeah,
was like, man, if I could do that, I could do that, or I can just keep it because that's my motto. Like, stay humble. That's what I like. That's my thing. So now it's in the background. If I want to put up your video, like if I want to pull up your music video right now, I can play that in the background while we're
yeah.
talking. Which actually I might do while we're speaking later, and we're talking about because you got a couple tracks right now that are fire. But
Appreciate that.
go ahead and finish talking
Yeah, yeah.
about the
No,
whole
like
YouTube and why that kind of went away.
no, but to kind of feed off your to kind of piggyback of what you said, like it's like when you look at the edited content of certain movie reviewers on YouTube, like
Mm-hmm.
I get this sense of effortlessness because it's almost like even though they're jump cuts, they jump. It looks like they're still like flowing into everything in a very easy way. That when I edit it, because I know how many retakes I did for a specific point, I'm just like, oh, does this really match the last one that much? You know what I mean? And then I'm like stuck there and I'm trying to like clean it up where it's just like a lot of the YouTubers I used to follow, they now do podcasts and do a lot of live content as well. And they've gotten so good at just kind of going with it that like now all of their commentary and all those kind of videos they used to do, they just do live now. Like they don't even like edit it like that anymore. And they feel like it's more natural and everything like that. So it's something that
I thought about doing that too, doing the live stream, especially since we're recording everything via Zoom now.
yeah,
I can link it to Facebook, YouTube, but my
yeah.
my brain won't let that happen yet. Not yet. I
No,
haven't dropped it that far.
I
Like I
think
have to edit it a little bit.
I was doing some of that. I was doing like a live podcast like that with someone a couple of years ago. We did like 3 episodes, and it just felt great. But the problem was I was talking for like 3 hours. I was like, damn, if I was editing this would probably be like 30 tops. But to like finish off, like when I got to a point on my YouTube channel, I reached 1,000 subscribers, and I was like, all right, I'm good. I didn't feel anything, like I don't know, like everything. I just felt like exhausted and it just became like the comments were just very like, when are you gonna review this? When are you gonna talk about this? When you wanna do you gotta whatever this trailer just came out, you gotta talk,
Became a
and it was
burden.
just like I was like, come on, like where it started as something that was fun, and I only wanted to talk about things that I wanted to talk about really, which is it's pretty selfish, especially when you're gonna start a community on YouTube. When I got like that portion of it where it was kind of like everyone wanted this specific thing from me that when I wanted to post a song or when I wanted to like do something a little bit different, they would dislike my video and be like, this is not what I wanted. And I would see that it was a subscriber that would like dislike my videos. And I was just like, what? Because this isn't the specific thing you wanted to see. Like, I remember I did Batman v Superman, and I didn't think that was going to do that well. Like, I was like, I wanted to make a song for the movie. I was so excited for it that I was like, I wrote that song way before the movie came out. I didn't know anything about the movie. Not shot it, but recorded it,
Oh,
edited a quick
you did
video
that before the movie.
before the movie. Like
Oh
I did
wow.
that. I wrote that 2 weeks before the movie came out. I had to wait some time. Had someone mix it real quick, and then I edited with all the trailers because the
So
trailers were
you
like,
just wrote that based it off your because I know you're a big like superhero comic book
yeah,
like geek, like you love that stuff. So I mean I do too, but I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm like saying, but
no,
like you're really into like a
yeah,
lot of like comic book superhero stuff. So you just did that based off your knowledge of Batman versus Superman.
yeah. I was trying to because I'm
Was
a
it
big
based off the
fan of
animated movie that they did? Because I know right
no,
around the same time there was a Batman movie that was kind of like Batman versus Superman, but it wasn't called that. You
there
remember
was
what it's called?
there
Or
was
no, it wasn't Killing
it
Joke.
was
It was
yeah, the Dark Knight,
the Dark Knight
Dark Knight
series. Yeah.
Return. Yeah. So I based it strictly off like bouncing off Man of Steel and what I saw in the trailers.
Okay.
I love Man of Steel to death. That's like one of my top three, and
We're
everyone
gonna agree
hates
to
me for
disagree
saying
on
that.
that one.
Yeah, I know. I could defend that movie to my core, yo. But I was just like, man, like I saw the trailers, and I thought Ben Affleck looked great, and I kind of got a gist of what he was about, but he seemed kind of like I was like, let me just bounce off what I think is gonna be about. So I wrote the perspective from Batman and Superman. I posted it up, bro, and I tell you, I posted that thing up and ran away from my YouTube channel. I was like, I'm not looking back because people are probably gonna think this is corny. They're gonna probably think whatever. But I'm like, I just wanted to do my thing, like, and I just had, and I came back and it was just like it blew up, and it was on blogs and it was in so many different places. And to add to what you were saying, I felt that same thing, that burden of just like being afraid of success. Like I thought it was too quick. It's like I want it, but I want it to come organically. And I felt like, oh man, like I don't want this video or this thing to define me, because I'm not someone that could be boxed in. As you know, like my hands are in everything. Like I like to do so much that I don't want people to associate myself with like one thing. Like
Well,
kind of see
I
me.
think that's the reason that video actually was so successful. It wasn't just the fact that the song was dope. It's that you cut it and you edit it and you
Yeah.
made that video edited to like make it like go along with it. Like it's not just audio with you, it's visual too.
Yeah.
And when you do YouTube and stuff like that, like you got it early. Like I wish you had kept going. I know fear of success. I get it. I suffer from it. And man, but like what you were doing with that video channel, the reviews, the movie reviews, it was fun. It wasn't serious. It wasn't like you have to watch it. It wasn't like Siskel and Ebert. It wasn't too goofy. It wasn't like, haha, we're not taking this seriously. Like you definitely ripped and critiqued a couple different movies. I can't remember off the bat, but like everything was fair. It was like, this is why I feel this way. You might not feel this way, but it's why I feel this way. But I go back to something a friend told me a long time ago. Because you know me, like you follow me just as much as I followed you, I think. And
Yeah.
whether it's Pure Style, Ambition, now DCXIV for the last 6 years, I take a lot of hiatuses just like you, but I got my hands in everything. Like right now, Art of MMA, we brought back the podcast a little less than a month ago. That's doing really well. Sports, maybe I bring back MVP Town, maybe I don't. But Certified was always a big one because it actually is the one that I can kind of dip my hands into everything, because I like to say I interview extraordinary people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
Hip hop artists like yourself. I got a director coming on. A couple weeks, I got a guy from the N1 basketball tour that I know real well, Lonnie Jorel, Prime Objective. I shouldn't have said that on air because every time I do, I jinx it and something happens and the scheduling gets messed up. So
You're gonna be good. You're gonna be
good. I got to knock on wood somewhere.
Yeah, I do it for you.
Yeah, but Kimberly Alexander, cancer awareness. Her husband passed away of myeloma, multiple myeloma.
Yeah, I was able
cancer.
to hear some of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. But I get to do a little bit of everything, and that's kind of like my creative outlet. And one of the things I've always appreciated from you is that whether it's music, which you're dope at, like I said, I was super excited to see this year you've gotten back in, and I was one of the first people to jump in and be like, yo, how come you didn't send this to me first? I was like, wait a minute, why did I gotta find about this on Instagram? I thought we were boys. What?
I'm just saying some unreleased stuff. So.
All right, awesome. But also, man, the art and the directing and some of the stuff you do, the way you video edit and cut stuff, I've always thought that was dope. I'm really good at audio engineering. I'm really good at like music and something like that. Film editing, kind of like that. I know I can do some transitions and some stuff like that, Premiere Pro, but you know, I'm one of the things about me being nervous about doing video again is that like I don't want it to come off as cheesy or stupid or anything like that. And here we are. And I'm just trying to do things perfect once again. And that's a burden sometimes on yourself more than anybody puts on you. Like you said, you were getting thousands of views, thousands of listeners. And for those watching this video, sorry I had to switch things on you because now I'm on the left instead of the right. But I was looking at it and it was driving me crazy that I forgot to flip it before we started recording. I did this for one of our MMA episodes too. And people were like, wait, you switched.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you, man. Like,
yeah, it's just that creative burden sometimes that you're putting out dope shit. You know, you're doing something that if you like it, that's what I was going to get into. If you like it, 1,000 people will like it. Like you're not by yourself. You're not the only one. Obviously, when it comes to comic books, superheroes, you still have on your YouTube page the one for Birdman, which I thought was pretty dope too. And I feel like you did a couple more than that you deleted, but you could have made a career just doing that. Like just,
I know.
I don't know how much you would have gotten sued.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like I was writing on I didn't monetize any of those videos. Like
so I'm sure they would have came down hard.
Yeah, like it threw me off because I did something amateurish. When I put out Batman v Superman at the end of that video, and for those who are listening, like it was just fan made song that I made for the movie before it had released. in the end of that video, I put a preview of Suicide Squad, that I was making a song for Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do that because I knew my channel did well after I had reviewed the trailer for Suicide Squad. I was just like all for it. I was making all these predictions and saying how great it was going to be. And then when the movie came out, I was like, oh,
There you go. I'm gonna pull a Jorel Blu and put that in the background. Go ahead.
yeah. When Suicide Squad came out, I couldn't write a song to it like I did with Batman v Superman, because I felt like the direction of the movie just didn't match what I had read, you know. So I was like, let me watch the movie first and then gain inspiration from that. And then when I watched the movie, I hated it. Like,
I know it's totally opposite. You like it, man. You like Man of Steel. I was one of the few people. I was one of the few people that loved Suicide Squad, and maybe it was just because of the cast. Like, it had such a good cast.
Yeah,
Will Smith and Margaret Robbie and all them kind of coexisted. I liked it. But
it was the things that bothered me in that movie were just, mainly
it was flawed, but it was still decent. I think people had I think the expectations were too high for it, and when you put it way up there, then it's like, if it comes even like here, people are like, it's shit.
Yeah. I think I saw a better movie in it that we didn't get. Like, I really enjoyed the Jared Leto, Harley Quinn aspect.
Like, I'm not looking forward to 2 at all.
Yeah. What's funny is I'm the opposite. I think 2 is going to do it right. You know what? I love B movies. Like, I like those canon films with Chuck Norris and Steven
But it ain't a B movie. It's got Idris Elba. It's got John Cena. It's got everybody in it. They couldn't get a couple people back, but they got a lot of people in it.
Yeah. They
got a bigger cast.
Yeah, they got Pete Davidson is in it too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I just felt like you don't like Pete Davidson? We got to talk about that. Yo, we got to talk. I
think his shtick is just too much. I think he tries too hard.
I'm gonna agree with you only because I just felt that when I watched The King of Staten Island.
Everybody can have their own sense of humor. I'm not gonna sit there and judge you for, like, I don't think he's funny. I'm sure other people do. I know why the ladies like him. I've heard the stories, but and I'm not gonna hate on him. He's at Ariana Grande, he's at Kate Beckinsale, so he's doing something right in life. He may be sleeping in his mom's basement, but he's doing something right. But then so is Michael B. Jordan, and look how he's blowing up. So who am I to judge? I'm sitting there trying to be on their level.
Wait, are you a fan of Michael B. Jordan?
I think he's cool. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, that's why I am too. Like, I'm in that. I think he's all right.
He's done some roles. I've been like, yo. And then other roles, I've been like,
It's a little
Black Panther, sometimes. He was cool. He did that lawyer movie. I saw a little bit of that. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Didn't get to watch that.
I've seen Michael B. Jordan since he was early on The Wire and all that stuff. So
he was in Hardball, right?
He's not new to me, huh?
He's in Hardball, right, with Keanu Reeves?
He's in a ton of stuff.
He's in a ton of stuff.
I don't remember Hardball per se. I mean, I do remember the movie existing, but I don't.
I remember watching.
You're way more
watching
the movie buff
Creed.
than I am, but.
Nah, I watched Creed, and I remember, like, I'm a big Rocky fan. I'm a hardcore. I love Rocky. Rocky's probably like my favorite franchise. And I
thought he did okay in Creed.
Yeah, I thought he was fine in Creed too. I felt like he did enough for that role, and I wasn't. The second one was just, it got a little they went too far left for me. That I was just like, it wasn't bad, but I wasn't feeling it. But and I think Killmonger, even for Black Panther, I think the character is better than he was, if that makes sense. I feel like they did a lot of good things with the character, but there were parts in it that I found a little cringy that I wasn't really feeling. But totally loved.
I think the problem with Killmonger was that it was supposed to be a vicious bad guy.
Yeah.
But every role he's ever played, he's kind of always been the character you're supposed to like.
Yeah.
Even in 2K. Like, even in 2K, like, he was a character that was like, hey, I'm the underdog, blah, blah, blah. He's always kind of had that underdog, I'm the good guy type character. So for him to all of a sudden be this vicious bad guy, it's kind of hard to see him in that character. Yeah. But I think he did decent. I don't think he did great or bad. I've always been kind of like,
Yeah, the same. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna say some other stuff on here about some other actors. I've always been like I don't know. I used to love Johnny Depp growing up, and ever since Pirates.
This is the show, man. This is what we do.
This is it.
We get in there. This deep conversation.
I'm passionate about movies, yo. Like, I can't. I'm more lenient when it comes to music.
All right, so we're gonna do another episode on his music. We'll do that next week.
No, but I'm so passionate when it comes to movies, man. Like, even recently, this year's been terrible. Like, I know because of everything going on.
I just want a little bit of credit when you relaunch your YouTube movie channel. Like I just want a little credit.
I'm working on
this. I triggered all this anger. Like you were like, now let's do it.
I'm trying not to, but I got triggered the other day, in a fun way. I don't mean that in like the worst way. I was watching a little bit of Halloween Town, and everyone said that there was a movie I missed out when I was a kid, and you gotta watch it. And I was like, oh, I gotta finish this. I gotta record myself watching this movie. I was entertained, and it was just like one of the funniest, baddest things I've ever seen.
Halloween Town?
You see, you don't even know what that is, right? It was a Disney Channel original movie, and everyone around, like, I don't know, like everyone that I work with.
My daughter's scared of all that stuff, so I'm good.
Yeah,
my wife loves everything scary. She gets terrified, rips my skin off while she's watching it. Like she'll like grab me, like. But my daughter, she's
what would you say is your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie is kind of hard because I laugh at all of them. Growing up, like I'm older. I'm 43, and like I grew up during the 80s and 90s with Freddy and Jason and Halloween and all that stuff. In what I considered real horror movies, Poltergeist. Poltergeist scared the shit out of me as a kid. Every other movie, I'd be like, haha, look, he's coming out the lake. He's going to kill him. He's going to kill him. You better run. Oh, you still there. Like, I know I'm white, but I'm that black kid in the movie theater. Like, I'm like, why are you standing there? What's wrong with you? And I did grow up in the hood, but like, I'm like, why are you standing there? What? And everybody's like, shut up. Like, I'm like, you're going to die.
You can't be that dumb. Like, you can't be that dumb. Why are you standing right there? Keep going.
It's like that commercial out now. Like, why won't you just get in the car and drive? And it's just like,
the car doesn't turn on.
By the chainsaws, you know.
Yeah. And, I know. Yeah.
And I'm just like, that was me. Like my whole, like that's how I look at horror movies. Like I look at them as comedy. Now, there's two. There's Poltergeist when I was a kid, had me checking under my bed. I'm like looking in the sewers. I'm like, it's raining. Like we're all gonna die. I don't remember how I got stumbled on watching it, but I remember I was really young. Yeah. And like I shouldn't have been watching it, and I did. And then the other one is the Saw series. And Saw doesn't scare me at all. It's just there's some, like Saw 3 was so just grotesque.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to watch it because it was like, I don't need to see that guy like burn. Like, no.
That's
and they for their part, they did a great job because it was so graphic. That's what they were selling. That was, you know, and now my wife at the time, this is a long time ago when we were first together and we were dating and we were watching it, and I'm not gonna lie, I bootlegged the shit out of it. And I was watching Saw 3 on my TV, and she was like, I was sitting there and I was like, I don't want to watch this. And she pulled my hand down and she made me watch it because that's what she does. It's like she loves that stuff. And so,
it must suck for that franchise in a way that they have to like up it up. They have to up the ante like every single time. Like
every time they say they're done, they make another one.
Yeah, I mean, I love the first three. It's story wise, and even like the gore was like it was done really well. After that, yeah, it was like it wasn't even like so much of the killings were bad. It was more so that when it came to like the twist, I was like, I don't care. Like, who cares? Like, I think the one that got me.
In fact, he keeps coming back to life.
Yeah, well, that. But Chester from Linkin Park, he was in one of them. I forgot which one it was. I think it was the sixth one. Yeah, and like he's supposed to be like a skinhead in the movie or something. And he's glued to like the car seat, and he has to like rip his skin off while the chain is like locked to his jaw. It was like, I remember just in the theater almost walking out. I had never ever like felt like that about a horror movie or
I feel like Saw's always had to go one up, and then it just, like I said, that's how I felt. Like, to me, there's a point of entertaining and just too grotesque. And it's just like, what does that do? You know, you're a creative person. What does that do for the story? Like, did you really have to go that far to do it? Yeah. And I don't think Saw had to.
I think after the third movie, it became a money thing because those movies only cost like $20 million to make, maybe even less, right? And the margin
in the box office.
Yeah, and the profit margin was
huge, and on the video aftermarket.
Yep. So
video on demand.
They're like, we could just keep throwing these things out and people are just gonna eat it up regardless. Even if they didn't like the last one, they're gonna hope this one's better. That's why Transformers keeps doing what it's doing and everyone don't like them. Like, they're like, oh, I hate them, but we all paying to watch it. So like they're gonna keep giving them chances.
I say that's our fault though. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
You're in your 30s, right?
Yeah, I'm 32.
Yeah, like you're a little on the younger end, but when I was a kid, like these are things from our childhood that we're like, we want to be good.
Yeah.
So no matter
Absolutely.
what it is, if they put it on the big screen, we're like, oh man, here's the Transformers I remember as a kid. Let's go see it. And whether we like it or not like it, I feel like they're just touching into that 80s, 90s audience that
Yep.
like even growing up 10 years younger than me, you're still like those cartoons were still on. Those things in the morning time were still on. You know, I heard they're getting ready to make another G.I. Joe. And some of these things, like it maybe it'll come out corny, maybe it'll come out great, maybe it'll just be a disaster.
Yeah.
But you they know people will watch it because it's a brand name.
Mm-hmm.
People have built a loyalty off it. You know, how many Superman movies can come out? Batman's way more than Superman. Like there's only been probably
Which is not fair.
5 or 6 like real Superman movies. Everything else is like mix up. But Batman, they keep how many times they can put somebody different in a suit. And me, you'll probably be totally opposite ends on this one. I absolutely, I tried to give it a fair chance, but based on what little footage we've seen of the new Batman with Robert Pattinson, I think it's brutally bad. Like, I would not pay to see that. And this is me coming off, like, we've had good Batman, we've had bad Batman. Like, I'm not going to pay to see George Clooney as Batman again. I'm not going to pay to see Val Kilmer as Batman again. Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, like those are my Batman. Ben Affleck, for the better or worse, I thought he was a horrible Batman, but I thought he was a really good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's kind of like the Bruce Wayne was kind of like who Ben is. Like most of his movie roles, that's kind of like who he is. It's kind of like I can see that. But this one, and like I said, I didn't hold Twilight against him, hold any of that stuff against him. I got let this stand on its own.
Yeah.
And what they did was almost make him sensitive.
And I mean, it's in between for me because.
And I'm one of the dummies that watched every season of Gotham. Like I love Batman.
Oh damn, you did, man! You brave, man.
All of them.
You got to talk about that too.
Now, that shit went off a cliff, but it came back strong at the end.
See with Robert Pattinson, like I'm not a fan of the Twilight movies. I did enjoy the very last Twilight. I'm not gonna lie, the rest were just awful. But
can we blame it on your girlfriend, or is that just totally
no? I would just if I'm gonna critique movies, if I'm gonna like talk about movies and stuff like that, like
I never watched after the first one.
Yeah, I gotta watch them. Like I can't just I don't want to blindly dislike something. Like
you're a movie buff. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta take that in. But I remember Robert Pattinson did he did A Good Time. He did a bunch of other movies that I like really loved, and I was like, oh, he's a dope ass actor. Like this Twilight thing doesn't define him. When I watched the trailer for the Batman, I got excited because this was the first time we were getting a detective version of Batman, and we never really got that. And I really enjoyed the David Fincher vibe to it. Like I enjoyed this dark seven kind of Saw kind of color palette to it. That I felt like it was going to be like a independent Batman movie. Like it was going to be a low key Batman movie. And I kind of in the mood for just getting fed with the story. Can they
make a low key Batman movie in 2020?
I think
because we've seen so much of it.
But at the same time, we're still getting Ben Affleck inside the Flash movie, so we're gonna have our crazy, probably bombastic Batman still going.
See, that was my problem with the Ben Affleck one. We had all this realism going in. We had Dark Knight series, which brought Batman more realistic. Like it kind of like dropped the comic book version. It made it more approachable, more realistic. Gotham, the first season at least, was very on the ground. Let's see Jim Gordon for being a real person. All these characters are kids or just starting out, and you're trying to figure out who's going to be who, and that was really cool. And then here comes this over-the-top Zack Snyder comic book version. And I swear to people at home right now, I do intend to talk about music with this man soon. But but I'm sitting there thinking like, man, we are way off. And this, if you ever listen to any certified podcast, we go way off the rails. It's a conversation, people, not an interview. Conversation. Anyway. Zack Snyder goes so way over the top. Like they're getting right. Like they keep promising this Zack Snyder release of Suicide Squad, right? Or no, Justice League. Yeah, Justice League. And I'm like, all right, it's got to be better than the one that actually came out in theaters. So I'll give it a chance. But
yeah, that was bad.
That was bad even for everybody. That was not even like that was just no. You think no?
That was bad.
Only person that was good for it was Jason Momoa, because then he got more money. But because he got that Aquaman and everything else out of that. But like Zack Snyder does it big. He does the over the top comic book, and that's why I really wasn't feeling the Ben Affleck Batman, because I was just like, here's this over exaggerated suit, like he's looked like all bulked up, all huge, and I'm just like, man, we just got rid of all this. We got Spider-Man looks more realistic, Batman looks more realistic, even Superman looks more realistic, and here we are.
I think Superman needed that. I think that's, but to keep on to what you were just saying, like my issue with Gotham was that it was way too dark to be as cheesy as it was. It was like, pick a tone. Are you cheesy? Are you like hammy? Are we doing the Batman 1960s thing? Or are we doing a dark thing? Because those moments where it's kind of like, oh, I see where the story is going. I like the Alfred dynamic. I think
I don't think they ever had a plan after season 1. I don't think they thought they'd get a season 2. And when they did, if you watched, like, how far did you watch it?
I watched the whole first season. I be honest, like I think it was when I found the Riddler constantly doing something like, he was making too many puns, and when like the Penguin was walking and he's just like, oh, you kind of walk like a penguin. I was like, oh God. And then Catwoman was asking for milk, and I was like, oh, come on. Like it was like, it's so on the nose. I was like, enough. You know?
I don't know if it went off the rails, because you kind of have to do some of that stuff to drop hints, because a lot of people were like, well, is this character going to be this? We think it's going to be this. Like they messed around with who the Joker was going to be like 4 or 5 times.
Finally,
like, this is the guy.
I remember reading about that.
Season 2, season 3, like, were not worth watching. Like, they definitely just kept going because they had ratings and people wanted, like, they had expectations after the first season being decent. And they're like, all right, cool. And they almost canceled the show. And then season 4, I think they only went 5 seasons. Season 4 was really strong. They came back really playing off that Joker line. They never actually called him the Joker, but basically, the 2 brothers, and one was kind of the Joker, and then he died, and the other one kind of took his place. And
one died and revived or something, didn't they? They were like
no, I mean, spoiler alert. Don't watch after the. Oh no, keep watching. Don't listen. But I just finally got all these viewers back, and I'm telling them to go away. No. The one brother died, and they cut off his face or something like that. And the other brother took his place, but they didn't know it was the other brother, because the other brother was supposed to be good. Like, he was supposed to be bullied as a kid. He was supposed to be tortured by the brother that died. And he took his place because he was actually the more deranged one. He was actually really the one that was the secret, like, bad guy as a kid. And he befriended young Bruce Wayne, and they become friends. And then it kind of ended up being a decent storyline, but you had to look at it as a whole. There was parts of it that I find, like, anytime you have a TV series, comic book TV series, that there's going to be, like, they try to have some kind of continuality, but it's really hard. And sometimes there's episodes that they're trying to tell a long-term story, but when you're trying to get viewers every week, it's like having a trilogy in a movie theater, and the second movie is shit, but it really tells you everything you need to know going into that great finale of the third movie, right?
Right.
Sometimes there's lulls, and went through the same thing with Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I watched almost every episode of that, and there was 2, 3, 4 seasons probably in that I was just like, I'm never gonna get that time back in my life. But once again, it finished strong, and then you're like, wait, why is this off the air? This is what we wanted, and now it's gone.
Yeah, I to go back to that thing you were saying earlier about, like, the Batmans, right? I always found, growing up, I loved the Michael Keaton movie. Really, really enjoyed that Batman a lot.
I'm excited he's going to be making a cameo in that Flash.
Yeah,
I hate Ezra Miller, but I'm looking forward to it now.
I'm not a fan of his Flash. I love Batman Returns is like one of, like, probably my top, like, probably my second favorite Batman movie. I love that movie to death, even with its flaws. I love it. I thought the first one is really good. I always put Bruce Wayne and Michael Keaton in that same, thing, but I don't know, like, in retrospect, I'm not that big of a fan as him, for him as Batman, as much as I do love the movies, and I'm a big Michael Keaton fan. Like, I even like Val Kilmer, I think kind of.
Should I put Birdman in the background? Should I put that video down?
Oh my God, no. Yeah, you should. I don't want you to get copyright strike.
I'm not playing the sound, so I think I'm all right.
Oh, word, you should be fine. And then like yeah, I thought the Val Kilmer one. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I hated Christian Bale as Batman, right? I don't know if we ever talked about this.
We never talked, so there.
Yeah, word. So I the thing with you saying that Ben Affleck was a little emotional.
And by the way, people, if you get a chance to listen to this video, this is dope too. Go to Jorel Blu's YouTube page. And like I said, some of the cuts he does, like obviously this is from the movie, he didn't make it, but just the way the cuts like go in and out with the song, it's dope.
I love that movie so much. I watched Birdman like I can't tell you how many times.
I've watched it a couple times. I like it.
I love it so much. I think that I think Christian Bale was the most sensitive Batman we had. I feel like his story arc for 3 movies was about Rachel. Like he was just concerned about like her well-being and their relationship. He's like, I don't know if I want to be Batman for Rachel or Rachel this. And then the 3rd movie, he goes and he hooks up with Catwoman and Ra's al Ghul's daughter. And I'm like, where was all this? You had this whole development of how Rachel was. You even took 7 years off from being Batman because you were just so distraught that I felt like Batman was the weakest part in that trilogy. As much as I enjoyed Batman Begins and what they did with that, I felt like they didn't do. I felt like Scarecrow was very underdeveloped. I felt like they could have done a lot more fun things with Scarecrow. I love Dark Knight. I think like anyone else, you know.
I mean, Heath Ledger stole the show on that.
Yeah, and people love nowadays to say that it's overrated, but no, it's not. It's just as amazing. I mean, there's one scene in the movie that's a little weird.
And I guess I'm gonna mess up my camera by doing this, but something my wife got me, but like she got me a picture with all the Jokers, and I'm trying to put my camera back.
Is Leto on that?
Huh?
Is Leto on that poster?
Yeah, they're all on there. Leto's on the left. And they're all, funny enough, all autographed. And my daughter asked me, she's like, why doesn't the Lego Batman have an autograph? And I had to explain to her that the scary animated Joker and the Lego Joker are the same voice. And she's like, oh, okay, I get it.
Wow. I love that Lego Batman movie too. That was a lot of fun.
Funny enough, my wife and daughter have started video gaming more together, and they were playing the Lego Joker, the Lego Villains movie.
Oh yeah.
I'm not the video game. They were playing it. I was just like, I came in the living room last night. I just started laughing. I was just like,
I played all the other Lego ones with my son, and they're pretty good. Real quick though, on Gotham, going after that, did you watch Pennyworth on Epix?
I watched part of the first season, and I actually like it. I never
watched it.
I never had time at the time. I was working a crazy schedule. For those who don't know, my main job, I'm not doing it right now because of COVID, but I bartended for a number of years. So at the time, my schedule was crazy, and I'd come home a couple nights, and I also have to get up at the butt crack of dawn to get my daughter and everything for school. So I'll try to unwind with an episode or two of something before I go to bed. Usually not a movie because then I barely sleep. But I'd watched a couple episodes and I really liked it. The only thing is I just never got to finish it, and it's just on my. I'm sure you have a list a mile long of things you need to get to and watch. I have a list a mile long of stuff that I really want to watch. It kind of reminded me of the remember Marvel had the spin-off for the girl Agent Carter.
Yeah.
They did the season of Agent Carter, season 2.
With Peggy, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me of that, where they went back in time. It kind of had that Agent Carter vibe, except this one was more British, and he was coming off time in the military, and he was like, you didn't know who he was. He was, I think he was taking care of his dad or something.
Is there a young Bruce Wayne at all, or this is way before all that?
Way before. Thomas Wayne is in it. So this is when he meets. This is when he meets Thomas Wayne, and then Thomas Wayne hires him. Because I think I have to go back and watch, but I believe it was like somebody got killed and Thomas Wayne was being framed, or because Thomas Wayne had like some medical thing that the bad guys were trying to get from him, and Alfred ended up being his bodyguard, and they went from there.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, because he was coming off his MI6 and all this like military, British military and stuff like that. So I have to go back and watch. I only went through a couple episodes, but it was actually really good. Like darker Londonish type. I would definitely love to go and rewatch
Sherlock vibes. Sounds somewhat. I don't know. Like I'm picturing like the Robert Downey Sherlock Holmes, like I don't know why. I mean, like that tone.
Probably closer to the Benedict Cumberbatch version.
Oh, okay.
Just like You gotta watch it. It's worth at least checking out. I don't know if you'd enjoy it as much, but I definitely enjoyed the first couple episodes. I need to go back and finish watching it, but I just haven't had time. There's just so much stuff on my to watch list that when I do get to binge something, it's usually something more current that everybody's talking about, and other stuff that just keeps getting buried deeper and deeper.
Yeah. Well, I'll check it out.
Funny enough, I just finished watching The Boys.
I haven't watched a single episode, and everybody is like at my neck. They're like, they gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
I don't know how they haven't been sued out of existence. I know the comic was the same way, but the fact that they take these characters and they're blatantly this person or that person.
Yeah.
It's just
hilarious. Yeah. Like yeah. Okay. So there's like a Wonder Woman, a Captain America kind of parody of version.
No Captain, but like Superman, Wonder Woman. They do take some characters that make them up on their own. There's a version of the Flash, but there's also another Flash. You'll see. They're only 8 episodes.
Quicksilver and Flash existing in our
kind of. There's 2 seasons. They're only like 8 episodes each. You could probably binge watch them. Like they just finished the 2nd season. Amazon was releasing them all like every Friday, so you had to like pace it out. And I didn't jump on until about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. So I missed all of season 1, and like you, everybody kept talking about it. I was like, and I saw the commercials for it, and I was just like,
yeah, that's
okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. And I don't remember what I was watching before, but it ended, and I was just like, okay, what am I going to watch now? And now that I'm home on not quarantine, but I live in Florida now, so I can go and do what I want. But wear a mask, people. I want to go outside soon, so please wear a mask so
Agreed.
We can all stop dying.
Agreed.
I'm not going to get political. Like Michael Jordan said, Republicans buy sneakers too. But wear a mask. I'm also the first person if they get a vaccine. I don't care if I grow a 3rd leg. Just go ahead and stick it in me so I can go outside and live my life. I grow a 3rd leg so I can walking around. I'll be like, yeah, but I don't have to wear a mask.
That's funny as hell.
But yeah, The Boys was pretty cool. It definitely, there were some episodes you'd probably be like, this is stupid. I don't want to keep watching.
There's always a filler episode here.
That's kind of where I was going with it. Yeah. Like every series, Gotham, there's fillers to get to a story, and it makes sense. I don't think The Boys meant to have a season 2 either, and then it kind of got started slow in the season 2, and then really picked up and finished strong. So
yeah, I felt like that with Mandalorian. Like I really really enjoy Mandalorian, and there were a couple of episodes
coming out soon too, right? And then next week or a week after.
Yeah, there was a couple episodes on there. I was just like, come on. Like, what are we doing? Like, move on with the story.
You think he'll be back for season 3? Or do you think he really quit?
Oh, hell yeah. I think they're going to, Disney's all in.
No, I think Mandalorian is, but do you think the Pablo, what's his name? The guy who played Mandalorian. He quit in the middle of the
series. Say that again?
They say he quit in the middle of the show this season.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he quit, and then now he's saying that he didn't quit. But if you notice, there's a lot more, like especially even in the trailer, but in the series this season, there's a lot more of a Gina Carano's character, a lot more of the other characters kind of like filling the hole because he was mad that he couldn't get more FaceTime. He always had to have the mask on.
Bro, like what? So what? I don't understand.
Well, they let him take it off at the end of season 1, and everybody realized he's actually an actor, and people like, oh, now he wants to be a star.
Oh my God, James Earl Jones wasn't saying that. Like, and look at him, he's an icon. Like, no one thinks.
First of all, James Earl Jones worked harder than anybody in the history. Him and Morgan Freeman have more roles. James Earl Jones probably didn't need to take the mask off because he was already doing like 18 different roles.
It's true. I think, but his voice was
also before your lifetime.
Yeah, and I think James Earl Jones had just like, his voice is just. I mean, he's top 3 of ever, at least. But when we talk about like this guy who plays Mandalorian, he could have been up there. I mean, the character was so like there was a lot of people who are still trying to warm up to there being like a Star Wars show. I know a lot of people are not tuned in as much as it seems to be, and I think they would have more seasons he would have done. Of course, he would have gotten more roles. Of course, he could have still. But it's just like
he's saying he hasn't quit now. Now he's saying he's gonna be back. So.
Like, come on, like I don't know. I think that's the Mandalorian. That I don't know. I don't agree with the whole fact that he just feel like the mask should be off. Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of the mystique. That's what, to his credit, that's what made the character so good, is that we didn't see his face and his voice was so damn good that I was still captivated by like the whole thing.
Yeah,
So
but let's be real. We all watched because of Baby Yoda.
I didn't. I'm the opposite. Like, I found the Baby Yoda stuff like, oh, that's cute. But
My wife sat
I was
there.
really into the story.
This is the last thing I'm gonna say about TV, and we're gonna hop on the music because this
Yeah.
is taking way too long.
Uh-huh.
But I started watching it in the other room in the old house we used to live in, and my wife was like, "Oh, I heard about Baby Yoda. I saw the YouTube video. Look, Baby Yoda." And she looked over my shoulder a little bit, right? And the next thing you know, she's not over my shoulder. She's on the couch behind me. And keep in mind, like this is a 48-inch screen now. I had the 65-inch screen you see behind me in the living room was my computer like setup. I am a tech geek, people. It's true, but like that was like I had a big 4K 65-inch screen. That was my like hooked to my computer, so I was doing gaming. I was doing tech work, webs, like all the stuff in one place. No, I wasn't using the full screen. I was like windowing it out. But anyway, all of a sudden she's like, "What's that? What's that?"
Yeah.
Got to the point I had to go up to the bedroom to finish watching the season, and she found a reason to be in the bedroom. So even though she didn't actually watch the first season, she watched the whole first season. She couldn't tell you anything that happened, but every time Baby Yoda was on the screen, she was like, "Ooh, Baby Yoda! I want to go see Baby Yoda." Like I'm like, his name's not Baby Yoda; it's the child. He doesn't have a name yet.
That's kind of, yeah. I remember like watching Star Wars when I was young for the first time, and thinking like the pacing was like a little slow. But then I got really invested in the first, the original Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. I'm like, oh, I get it. And I remember the third one going on, and I'm like, do people love this third one like they love the other two? I felt like it became like a franchise at that point. It became like very goofy. You can definitely tell. And I was a little older, so I'm like, are they selling? They're trying to sell toys now. Like it seems like Leia's in different outfits, and there's Ewoks, and it was like, all right, this is like now they just know that
I'm
they're
the only person that likes the Ewoks movies.
See, and then
but I was a little kid, so I'm right.
Mandalorian. I like the fact that they kind of have that kind of
Wicked was awesome.
Western of like Empire Strikes Back, but they needed a Yoda. They needed a Baby Yoda. Like they needed a hook, and if that was their hook to get more people to watch, should we get more of that story? I'm with it. Like,
yeah, no, it definitely put eyeballs on the prize.
Yeah.
But speaking of putting eyeballs on the prize, look, people, I can segue. We're going back to you. We've been talking about movies way too long, and I'm gonna keep you here for 3 hours if we keep doing this. So, back to you. So we're talking about your YouTube channel. We're talking about how you kind of, much like me, you're a perfectionist, a little bit, too much, too fast. Transition from, well, actually, first, I don't think you ever got to it. Why did you delete all the videos?
I felt that, again, it was one of those things where I feel like people were just latching on to content that I made that I just didn't want to make anymore. And they were just like, oh, make something like this again. You got to do a second one of this. And I was just like, and I went back to the videos. I didn't like it. And which was a terrible, please, anyone out there, try not to do that. Like a lot of those old videos, now they're not deleted. They are private. Like I could still go back to them. And I look back on them and I'm proud a little in a way. Like, yeah, they're, they could be cheesy here or there. And I'm just not, I felt like I could done things a little bit better, but I was overthinking it at some point. Do you think
about making them unprivate just to put more eyes on what you're doing now?
I may. I'm working on a review right now. So
like that's the reason I have all the episodes of the first season of Certified on D6IV. Yeah. Because like if you stumble upon one or two, you're gonna see what else I'm doing. One of the reasons I don't have a certified website or Art of MMA website anymore is because I like to do so many different things that if you come for one, you may stay for the other.
Yeah. Yep. And I've been considering doing that again. I'm gonna see how this next review comes out. But yeah, it was just like I did that, and when I went to the second phase and I started working with a rating tool that I had made, there was something. Now I just got to a point where I was too specific, or I was like, I don't know, like I was like overdoing it, and I was over editing, and I was over hyper focused on things that just like where I know people just enjoyed the natural reactions from me, the natural like me just talking to a camera and just speaking from the top of the head. And then I was like, I'm not happy with this either. And it just got to a point I was like, all right, I'm need to step off. Like it's all my fault, really. Like at the end of the day, like I'm being totally honest with you. Like it's just like and for anyone listening, like you really have to just allow your mistakes to be out there. Keep, you have to start somewhere. You have to, even if it's not professional or if it doesn't look as professional as you think. Like my first reviews were terrible as far as quality, but I was enjoying it, that because I enjoyed it so much and I wanted to be better, I made sure I worked a little bit more hours to get more money, to get a camera, to get a setup, to get certain things to go with the background. Like it all comes, but you have to start. Like, don't think you have to start with an expensive camera, expensive mic, or none of that. Just start. Like, just start. Just start. Let a few people see it. Start with a small following. Be humble about it. Have fun with it, and have fun and
That's
keep
exactly
going.
that's exactly what I keep telling people. You got to take the first step.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
why I went ahead and relaunched Art of MMA podcast. First
yeah.
thing, like I was like, people were kept hitting me up for like a year or two to do it, and I'm sitting here at home, nothing going on, and I'm like, fuck it, let's just do it. And
I gotta
it
get
wasn't
back
good.
up.
I mean, it was good. It was better than I thought it would be. And it was fun. The first couple episodes were audio. Last couple we've done in video. They're all getting better every single episode.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just got to start, and
Yeah.
one thing leads to another. Yeah, and I get it. Like sometimes you put too much pressure on yourself, and it's
Mm-hmm.
no longer fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was my big thing. Like a long time ago when I was doing all the other websites, it just wasn't fun anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt myself like having deadlines.
Yep.
And even if they're deadlines I set for myself, like, hey, this is my content schedule. Tuesdays will be this, Wednesdays will be this. And then all of a
And,
sudden you have a personal life. You have
yep.
your girl, your kid. You got to make time for them. And
Yeah.
next thing you know, you miss a scheduled date and then you're mad at yourself and it just kind of dominoes.
Yeah. There was definitely guilt that used to come over me. Like I remember there were plenty of times I was supposed to go out and do something, and I would cancel because I had to get this video out before everyone else did, because it was just like the algorithm would just like
You'd be
dead me.
buried.
Like I'll be like in the fourth page when they search it up. So I'm like, I got to get this out now, and then I would do that, then edit it, and then I would leave and do what I have to do, but show up to that like event late. But I'm like obsessing on like, did people watch it? Are people seeing it? Is it like doing what it needs to do? Is it And I'm like, now the whole night is spent doing that, and I'm not really enjoying myself. And then I'm like easily like irritable. Like I feel like if people talk to me, or I'm just kind of like my mind is somewhere else right now, that I'm just like, I don't even want to like converse or anything like that. So I just found like, even for me, like I don't know what it was. It's just it was a me thing where I was just overdoing it. And there were times I felt guilty like doing that, but also like pulling away from spending time with my son at certain times because I had to get something finished. But I'm like, man, if I didn't have like a regular job and this was my full-time thing, I could balance this out way easier. But I had so much going on. I was still trying to work on music in the background. I was doing a YouTube thing. I had like my son. I was working 40 hours a week. Like it was so much. And when I felt like that really started bringing like the worst out of me as far as how I felt, and I was like, I need to change up. Like I need to do something different. I need to pull back. And eventually I just decided to just drop it all. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like I can't, because it was more of those things. It's like, maybe I'm not built for this. And then when things go well, I self-sabotage the momentum, and I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Fear of success.
yeah. So it's like, what am I doing here? So I stopped
And
that.
maybe you're like
Yeah.
me too. I can't speak of whether you were making money on it or not, but the money's not paying your bills. And
Not at all.
it's more for your creative outlet. You got to
Mhm.
start somewhere. You want to be a billionaire. You want to be all this stuff. But, and,
Mhm.
I came in the same problems with my wife. And, she's like, but are you making money at it? Are you doing
Yep.
this? And I'm like, well,
That's a
you got to
hard thing
do
to
this to
hear.
make money.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you
a
got to
hard thing to
start.
hear.
But, when it comes to sacrificing time for creativeness, there's got to be a balance. And I don't know if I've still found it, and I don't know if you found it, but it's definitely a hard line, because
Yeah.
there's times where she's like, let's go do something, let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like either tired because I was up all night editing something, and I'm sleeping now when she's awake. And
Mm-hmm.
it was
A
all
lot,
it was
a lot of
all a
people don't
mess.
talk about
And
that.
one of the things I was really excited about seeing you, because man, you, and I'm not just saying this because you're a guest on my show, like your creativeness blows my mind. Like the
Thank you.
things you do with your music, your lyrics, the way you compose things, the videos you used to do that you may have thought they weren't really good, but they were really awesome. The way you did it, like there's a reason why Screen Junkies and all them wanted like your attention, because you were doing it better than they were. they were doing
No,
it.
I appreciate that.
And
Man.
you were more personable. And, you know, transition over to your music. That's how I found you. You know, I don't remember if you found me or I found you, but back when, you know, the Dope Dealers, Item 9, if you guys go looking for it, he was under the name AJD.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy named Ty Philly. And
Yeah.
I'm always confused about the name. Was
I know.
was the Milkmen or was it the Dope Dealers? Or was Dope Dealers the name of the album?
So we were Ty Philly is from a group called Milkmen.
Okay.
And it was him and another artist.
So it was AJD and Milkmen.
And it was AJD. And then if you take Ty Philly out of Milkmen, it's AJD and Ty Philly, the Dope Dealers.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So that's how it worked. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had a mixtape, Item 9, and we featured it on ambitionlifestyle.com at the time. And I'll go a step further. I'm not even sure. I had another guy, Vander Wilson, working with me at the time, who now has his own thing on vintagegrind.com. And one of us came across it, and I fell in love with a couple songs. Obviously, you've always tied in the movies with your music.
Yeah.
You know what? I was flirting with it, but I will. We just relaunched our SoundCloud page for DCXIV. Go to SoundCloud some point later today. Go to soundcloud.com/thisisDCXIV. And I'm going to put up the Ambition Lifestyle Volume 1 from 2012. Had a lot of dope tracks, not just gentlemen joining me, but Kingpin Slim, SK, a lot of dope people. Concept was on there. I always get a track or two taken down because the music labels now want to.
Yeah, but Concept is signed too, right?
I have documentation saying I have rights to these songs, and I still got to, every time I upload it, I still got to go through the same algorithm bullshit. Like there's an artist named Jessie Malay, who like a pop R&B singer, and she has a couple tracks on there, and every time they get taken right down, and then I have to go through a whole chain of commands saying I have rights to it. So now I don't even upload them. I know what tracks are going to get taken down. I'm just like, they were there before, but they're not there now.
The micromanaging, UMG.
I think it's all just computer algorithm nowadays.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so he had a song called King Kong, and it hits hard. Like, you do a really good job composing with the beats that you use in the lyrics, and the way that you guys did that track, back and forth, rhythmic, taking turns, just the pairing was perfect. And then as I sat there and I discovered more about you, and I went and said, okay, well, who's AJD? Let me find out more. And then there was another track we were talking about earlier before the show, Penny Dreams, which you said was very personal to you. Mm-hmm. It was something you were going through at the time. And I think based on everything we just talked about with the movies and the YouTube channel is exactly the point. Like, it's the point that if something's personal to you, if you care about it enough, I think I said this, I don't know if I said it on air before, but if one person likes it, 1,000 people like it. Yeah. And if you feel personal about it, there's somebody else that's going to connect with you because they're going through it too. And Penny Dreams was everything from a state of depression to a state of euphoria, all in the same track, because this is where I am, this is where I want to be, and I got to go through step A, B, C, D, E to get to there. Yeah. And it was such a good dictation of that, in the flow, in, like I said, you might not think, I know personally I'm my harshest critic, but you have more talent than almost anybody I've ever heard.
Wow.
And
thank you.
And and you're not alone. There's a million artists that have all the talent and just don't get seen or don't get heard. Another one, Lester London, I worked with, or I talked with a lot on social media and covered on Ambition Lifestyle and Pure Style and stuff like that. He went through a few different name changes, and now he's on Lester London, just opened his own studio actually, Bridgeport. So shout out to him. But he's another guy I always said, all the talent in the world, could be anything, and one choice or another choice is where we are now. But first of all, you're still young. I know when I was in my early 30s, I didn't think I was still young anymore, but you are, especially in the entertainment world. And the songs you put out, it's not mumble rap. It's not like something you can't understand. It's not something that doesn't translate. It's clear, it's concise, and it has what I've been yelling for years. If you go back and listen to any episode I had with a hip hop artist in season 1, every time I'm like, this is what's missing from hip hop: a story, a start and a finish, and something that gets you hooked. Like when I grew up, not just the 80s, but the 90s, like every song had a story, and every album had an arc. And the reason why people still gravitate to people like Jay-Z, who's in his 50s now, or almost 50 if he's not, is because they tell a story with their songs. And you go into the beginning and you're like da da da, and it hits hard usually with a nice beat, and you're sucked in. And every story, whether it's your Dawn of Justice to the stuff you got now, the Tyler Durden, the Mr. Nobody, there's a story. So not only are you listening to the music, which has to be good to suck people in, but you're also listening to the story because you want to know how it finishes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing you do fantastic.
No,
you're a storyteller, whether it's doing your YouTube videos or your music.
I appreciate that, man. Like, you know, it's a thing, man. Like I feel like in a lot of ways it is a dying art, like you said, and I don't even do it intentionally. You know, it's just they're just like I'm a movie fan, right? And I think naturally I want there
it's
to
the
be
plot.
Yeah, I want there to be a beginning, middle, and end, and I'll even throw my references in there. And you know, like I do it unintentionally, and then there are times where I do pull back, and I go like, man, like, is anyone really gonna listen to this? Like, I know when I was writing Tyler Durden, like, I remember thinking like, damn, for 3-something minutes, I am just rapping, but I wasn't really rapping about nothing. I was rapping from like a bitter split personality. Like it was like these are some things I've been thinking, and I don't really mean them completely, but I gotta kind of let these things out.
And for those who are watching, I'm putting
yeah,
on the Mr. Nobody video in the
Mr.
background,
Nobody.
so you guys can kind of watch along just to see how creative like these stories are, not just with your music, but with the videos, and you tie it all in.
Yeah, like one thing people don't realize about that video that you're playing is that if you look at the rooms, that's my son's room. It's in blue, and if you look at the other room, it's my bedroom with my girlfriend, and it's red. And when you put them together, it's purple. And if you notice when I'm in the living room, those colors kind of come together, and it's kind of like the only thing that kind of keeps me together.
Now I feel like I'm blocking everybody watching.
Yeah, no, but yeah, man, yeah, like I there was a video that there was more of a story that I wanted to put in the visuals, and when I was doing it, it was like almost distracting from the lyrics. That I was like, damn, like we literally must have edited that video like 3 times. We're like, let's just keep it simple. I mean, we're in quarantine or whatever. Let's just keep it that way. I think people just want that. Let's just give the home vibe to it. And we did it. We were like, all right, like yeah, like my girlfriend, like she's literally beside me the whole time. Like she's my biggest cheerleader, man. Like I mean, like I remember when we first met and I was doing the YouTube thing or whatever, and I always felt like I have to do this thing. And I'm like, man, she's like, we had just started going out, and I'm like, she's probably thinking like I'm too devoted to my art. But nah, she was just like, no, finish what you have to do that, come through. And then afterwards, when we started living with each other, I started working on music and everything like that. She was just so encouraging. And then when I did Mr. Nobody, funny story is that I had the hook, I had the melody, I had it exactly what I wanted to. I usually would hum a flow on my like the voice app on my phone, play the beat, and then I just start filling in the words that make the most sense and whatever. And I remember I had a hook, and I wrote that hook, and I was like, yo, this is it, like this is the one. And then I just kind of like put it to the side, and I'm like, because I was busy with some other stuff, and she's like, you have to finish that song. A few days came by, she came back to me, she's like, you need to finish that song, you have to finish the song. So I finished it, and I did the first
Sometimes
version.
you need that kick in the ass.
Yeah, and it came out to be exactly more than what I thought it was going to be, and I'm like really really proud of it. And it's really rare that I say that, but it definitely hit home, and it was very relevant to like everything I was feeling and going through. And
you got a great response from it too. I was looking online at people that just vibe to it.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And then there were so many people from like Brazil and Russia and like Germany, like everyone just
welcome to the internet.
It was just like, it's humbling. Like it definitely is. It definitely is scary. And I felt like that was coming back. Like I'm like, uh-oh, here it comes. But this time is a little bit different. I don't do anything. I don't do anything. I don't want to sound like a dick, but I don't do anything for anybody anymore. Like I don't do it for views. I don't do it for.
I promise you. If that's the way you do it, you'll be more successful.
Yeah, man. I stopped thinking like that because I also, if you notice, I don't really promote the music like that anymore. I really let it self promote. Like, I don't say, "Oh, the video is dropping tomorrow." Like when I did Mr. Nobody, I had a little survey to be like, "When should I drop it?" And I let people get the power over that. Like, what do you want to do with this? You know, and it kind of helped the engagement. And then when I dropped the video, I let it be. When I dropped the Mulligan, I just let it be. I dropped Tyler, I allow the art to kind of just speak for itself, and it did. And I'm very thankful for you and everybody else who supported that. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to all the work you put in early on, that people still stuck around. And I get a lot of that too when I deleted, like, you look at like Certified, I just relaunched all the social media networks. So it's like 10 followers, 12 followers. Like, and people are like, oh, but you have all these videos. Why don't you have, somebody asked me the other day, they're like, you have all these videos. Why don't you have more followers? And I was like, I did. Like, I had thousands and I deleted it all. And because at the time I didn't want to do it anymore. I never wanted to come back to it. I wanted to move forward with my life. And eventually you find that passion again. And, I'm really excited you found your music passion. Cause like I said, man, I love listening to it. And if you're doing it just for you and you don't care about the negative, you can only do more positive. And
yeah, I agree.
doing these podcasts now, like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it for business purposes, but I'm also doing it kind of the same way. Like,
Yeah.
I wish people would leave me feedback because I like to get better. But if I don't get a single comment or a single like, I'm still going to keep making the content because I'm having fun doing it. And, the things you do with your music, tying into go back to the dawn of justice, and the way you tell the stories is tying in your passions. It's not just your music. You're mixing in that passion from movies and comics and games and everything else you do on the other side. So you do it more, or I guess the best way to put it, you do it more musically and more creatively than say I do, but you also have a lot of interest and you also tend to blend them all together. And
Yeah.
like I said, I think that's awesome, man. I'm really excited to see you back, and I hope you don't let anything kind of get in your way. You got to balance out
Yeah.
the time with your son and with your girlfriend, and
hmm
that's the hardest part, I think.
I would say to you as well, man, like for what you're doing, like it's always good to have a back catalog. Definitely, like what I did was a mistake. And I say that in the sense of like a person who watches these videos, right? Like whenever I see a video on YouTube or I see a video anywhere that I'm just like, wow, that was an
By the
interesting
way,
thing.
Coke, if you'd like to sponsor the show.
If I saw something I really like from a specific YouTuber or something like that, I'm like, damn, that was really, really great. What else do they have? And you'll find myself binge watching like things that they've done in the past, and like, man, look what they came up from this. Like, I'm never looking at them like, oh man, they were terrible. I'm
I
looking
don't think I
like,
ever
look
realized
at,
how much she was in that first video, by the way.
yeah, no, that was again another video. I was kind of like,
Looks like you're just having fun.
I was really trying to overdo it at some point, and I'm like, nah, what is my life about right now? I'm always with my son, I'm always with my girl, we're always doing silly crap. I'm always trying to
Yeah.
like be cool for him. I'm like, let's just have fun. Like I'm not gonna, and it felt good. Like it feels natural to me. Again, it's not, it's not for the sense of just like, again, the attention will be great to get more people to listen to my stuff, and all that is fantastic, and I'm all game for it. But it's not going to kind of control anything I'm doing anymore. So
No, that's great to hear, man. I'm happy that you're back. I'm happy that even if it's only temporary, you disappear again. You know what? You're
mhm.
living your life, and that's the only person you can really live for. Um,
Yeah,
I do encourage people to definitely go and listen to that. I'm waiting for you to drop that video for Tyler Durden. I can't wait to see the Fight Club references and everything you're going to put in that, even if it's sitting in your house. I know
we're
you're
gonna
going to do
reshoot
something
it.
crazy with that. Probably sit there in a pool of blood on the floor or something.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna reshoot it. We did it, and I felt like this one it wasn't my vision, so we're gonna do it again. But it's gonna
Who
be
helps
good,
you with all that, if you don't mind me asking?
huh?
Like who helps you with all that, if you don't mind me asking? Because I know that's a lot to do one person.
I do it all by myself.
Every single
I
thing.
Yeah, I do the when it
Damn,
comes
you're way
to
too much like me.
helping the my girlfriend would help me. She'll hold the camera for me, and I'll give her direction. And she's gotten so good at that. When it comes to editing, that's all me. Like I don't get help from anywhere else. As far as mixing the music, I before I didn't do too much of that, but now But now forget it. Like now I'm always like
Do
reaching
you
out
produce
to
everything?
engineers. No, I reach out to engineers, and I used to try to dabble in beat making, but I can't rap on my own beats. So I was like, nah. I just because I could hear everything. Again, I'm too much a perfectionist. I was kind of like, let me just let some people. That's the one thing I just let people just kind of I lend. I take from them. But yeah, anyone I do work with that's not like anyone I work with, they all get paid too.
By the way, I'm gonna real quickly apologize. I live in Florida now, and they're always working on the grass or the lawn. So unfortunately, outside there's a little bit of weed whacking going on. So I'm sorry about that buzzing. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I know yeah, that's it. But the videos my girlfriend helps me shoot them. But I edit all of it. I don't yeah, it's all me. When I record, I don't record in the studio. I record with this mic right here, except it's up there where the foam is at. Uh Everything's myself, and I just email, whatever the stems to whoever's gonna mix and master it. And that's it. Like I don't it's all me.
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with all of my audio stuff. So I know the painstaking time and consuming. It's funny. My wife she'll text, like I record everything, try around 1 o'clock, and around 4 o'clock she'll text me because she feels it's finally safe, and she's like, "Are you editing or are you free right now?" And I'm like, sometimes.
Yeah, I find little tricks in here and there to kind of make the work efficient. Like,
Podcasting is way efficient now because I got the framework built in.
Yeah,
like I've released a number of episodes now, especially with the MMA broadcast, that it's almost plug and play at this point. And certified, the audio track will come out super quick for this because it's really just denoising it and cleaning up the track and drop it in. I still have the same intro I'm gonna use, that nice cinematic intro I used. I'm still trying to figure a way to kind of play that into our Zoom broadcasts without taking over everything. Every time I try to do it, the screen share thing just kind of screws everything up. So I'm just like, I'll edit it post interview.
Do you use like Streamlabs and stuff like that?
Right now, I'm just using the Adobe suite of stuff.
Got it. Okay.
Prelude for audio, or for a Premiere for video, and Audition for audio, and sometimes After Effects. So I really want to try to play around with stuff. But most of the thing about Zoom I like is I can just literally plug and play. Like it records it, it can record the video, and then it also does an audio stream separately. Or if I want, I can record each of our audios separately. So if it comes time to clean it up a little bit, like say yours is staticky or mine's staticky, I can do the separate feed and just do it that way.
That's good.
So I think that's really cool. And it only costs like $15 a month to do the pro package. So you can go over an hour, you can do whatever you want. So I like it a lot.
That's good.
There's definitely stuff you could be adding to it. I think it'd be cool if they had more overlay features. It'd be nice to say across the screen, here is, Mike In, here's Jorel Blu. I can do that post edit. I did it for my MMA broadcast, the last episode. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing it because it kind of almost looks cheesy, but we'll see. I can also flirt whether I want to just be side by side or if I want to let the speaker view take place where it's full screen me or full screen you. This broadcast I went side by side. The next one I might mix it up. I like hearing feedback. So anybody at home listening to this or watching the video, definitely let me know what you feel. If you like this, if you like the other way. Much like Jay, I'm doing it for me, but I listen. One thing I've learned in old age, I've learned to listen. I've learned to.
If it's constructive and it's something you can take from, it's great. It's more when people are just like, this is trash, or this is just like not something I would ever listen to. It's like, shut up.
But in fairness, if they're responding to it, they've already listened to it.
Word up. That's
I can't remember if it was Nicki Minaj or somebody, but they were like, maybe it was Cardi, and she was just like, you're sitting there trashing me, but you're playing my song a million times. Keep on trashing me because I'm getting paid. Oh, actually, you know who it was? It was YouTube. It was Lily Singh. I saw a Q&A she was doing about why she doesn't use Superwoman anymore, because I guess in the beginning she had to license the name from DC. And
really? Even though she spelled it like a screen name, it wasn't like I Superwoman or something like that.
Yeah, I guess they got a hold of her early and said, if you want to keep doing this, and because when she first was doing it, she wasn't that huge successful star. They didn't charge her barely anything to license it. But then by the time the license ran up, she was a huge megastar. And they were like, well, if you want to keep using it, you have to pay this. And she's like,
Oh,
I'm just going to
damn.
go by my name. And
She
somebody
had
asked, what's
to
the difference?
show and all that. Yeah.
I think the question was, what's the difference between Superwoman and Lily Singh? And she said, there is no difference. Am who I am. I just don't use the name anymore. And that, you know, she's doing her thing. She's got her talk show and her YouTube show. And, you know, she's a good example. Many of these YouTube stars, even the ones you hate, I'm not going to give them publicity because I don't like them, but
no, I hear you.
but there's many that you can't stand, and you know what? The more we watch, the more they get paid.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
I will say I'm a little negative on YouTube raising the stakes to get paid now. Like you have to have like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed, and I'm just like, are you doing this for creators or are you doing this for brands?
It's for brands. It's 100% the apocalypse thing, just kind of remixed. It's like, you know, they're concerned that
YouTube
you know
TV.
they don't have a lot of people who can really monitor what's being posted. So if someone's, you know, posting a video and then they have some type of terrorist act in it, but then Coca-Cola is in the ad right before the video, they can lose that sponsorship. So because of a lot of that, they're, you know, it turned to what it is right now, and it's just really just their way of covering their ass. So where it used to be all about the creators and all this other stuff, like they're like trying to protect the platform as well as you know, everything else. But it's trash now. Like, in that's why a lot of people are like resorting to Patreon, or they're doing live streams where.
But the crazy thing is, it's still the best way to make money.
No, it is. Yeah. I mean,
I could sit there and I haven't had an episode of Certified in 2 years. I've done a few episodes of the MMA show. I could reach out and get a sponsor right now. Would it be financially worth it to me to get a sponsor at this level, where I would then lose monetization on any future, not just now, but future YouTube, because I clicked one episode that says I was monetized? Because if you don't, then your whole channel gets banned if you don't admit it.
Right. Yeah.
What is it worth? And some people, it is worth to get the sponsorship now, because they'll never reach 1,000. They'll never reach the 4,000 hours viewed. I have long-term goals. Another reason why all these shows are on the same network, because they all count for the same 1,000, and you know. But like I said, I deleted everything, so it's all starting from scratch. So I understand what you're talking about. I went through the same thing with all my content. If you look on, so many people told me things from both sides. They would tell me to either get rid of all the old content and start fresh, start brand new, right? Or to keep all the old content because it got people in the door to see what you're doing now. Or once they're in the door, they see that you have a history and that you're not brand new. And that's kind of where I went with it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But if you go on dcxiv.com now, you don't see every little video. You don't see every little movie trail. You don't see all the stuff that kind of doesn't age well, right? Because telling you a movie's coming out in 2017 is not going to help you in 2020.
Yeah.
But the interviews, the stuff that I care about, some of the more passionate stuff, the next on deck I did with a hip hop artist named Concept before he blew up and signed with Sony Music Asia. Like, that's cool. Like,
I didn't even know he signed to Sony. I thought Sony, I remember him in the, what was it? The brown bag? Brown Bag All Stars. Yeah, Brown Bag All Stars.
Yeah. No, he went over. I think it's episode 3 of Certified Podcast. Everybody go listen. That's what happened with Concept. But I actually got him because he went over for like a 2-week tour into Korea and stayed for like 6 months because they signed him.
Wow.
Because he blew up over there and they signed him and they didn't let him come home. They were like, all right, you're going to do this, you can do that, you can make this music. And that's why the album he has from there is called 14 Hours Ahead. And we talked while he was in Korea, and I was here obviously, and we did that one via Skype and everything. That was fun, like planning that time zone difference for that episode. But yeah, you know, one of the things I love having somebody like yourself, some of the other artists I've had, I love giving people a spotlight that I know are uber talented and I want the world to see. And I don't care if you're Jay-Z or you're Jorel Blu. I want the people to discover you and I just love, like, I do the same thing with MMA. Like, I love talking to fighters that are on their way up or are independent. Like, I could talk to the UFC guys, and I like talking to them. They're really cool. But sometimes that story is more
Yes.
passionate. It's more
Yeah.
real from the person that is doing what they're doing on the ground level.
Yeah, and it's funny because what's to say that in the future if they were to blow up, and then you talk to them on a podcast in the future, you can hear a difference in tone and the way they look at life and the way they whatever. And to go back to that first episode and in contrast, which is that's also interesting,
And it's
to
not
bring some.
perfect. Some people change,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
and
Yeah,
some people stay grounded, and you don't
yeah,
know which one's going to be which until it
yeah,
happens.
yeah, exactly.
You know, I was telling you about Lester London. He used to be go by the name Y Fame. I still to this day tell him he needs to go back to that because I thought it was such a cool, unique name.
Well, I
He
think
blew
that's
up
hard.
real
I
quick.
like that.
He had this Backpack Kid mixtape. He's out of Philly, Camden, New Jersey area. Um, Blew up real quick. Him and another guy, Apollo Ali, they did a lot of collabs. He had, much like you, he had an album, The Somebody Is Nobody, and it had a little bit of, quite a bit of success. And he wanted to keep moving forward with his music and evolving.
Mm-hmm.
And like all artists, whether you're a painter, a musician, a director, you want to evolve, and he wants to keep evolving. And somebody be like, well, play that song from that album. We want to hear
Yep.
that album. We don't want to hear what you're doing now. And
Hate
he
that
kind of
shit.
ran into that brick wall. And I think I tell him the same thing I tell you. Sometimes, and I've had my time in the music industry as well, behind the scenes from a management point of view. And I tell people the same thing. Sometimes you need something to get people in the door. And you remember a rapper, he passed away, but a white rapper by the name of Idea. He won all the scribble jams and the battle raps. He
Um,
was with Atmosphere and everybody.
I know atmosphere. I know atmosphere and POS. I don't. I'm.
So Idea was a white rapper, Michael. His name's slipping my mind, but he was real famous because he came out and there. This is off the heels of Eminem and everything, and
Mhm.
he went and won all
Okay.
those Scribble Jam battle raps that they had, especially in New York and everything else. Another white kid out of Minnesota, and he stuck to his art. Now he was battling a lot of mental depression and some other stuff, and unfortunately, he took his life. But
Damn.
during his career, he came with the same battle. He was like, he wanted to put out his message. He always wanted to put out his message. And people only really came to see his music because they recognized him from the battle jams, from the battle raps and the freestyles. If he ever put out one pop song,
Mm-hmm.
one crossover pop song,
Yep.
everybody would have heard his message.
Yep.
They would have heard his entire album, especially back then when people listened to the whole albums instead of just the track streaming here or there.
That's the thing people don't could never understand. Like there are many battle rappers right now who write pop songs for other artists
Oh
because they
yeah,
know if they put out that song, they would be like, "This is trash" or "This is not what we want
they
from
lose
you."
their credibility.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a
Like,
money game. It really is. And I tell people all the time, like, you need to have a track that can play on the radio because if you do, they'll listen to all of your amazing creative like work. If you have a track, a 12 out, a 15 track album, and 14 tracks are authentic and they're real and they're what you are, and you have one track that they play on the radio, it gets a lot of play. It gets everybody listening to every other track, and maybe they love it and maybe they hate it. But A, you're getting paid
yeah.
because they're all buying that album or
Hmm.
streaming it. And B, you're going to develop, maybe it's 1 out of 1,000, maybe it's 1 out of 10,000, but one
Yeah.
out of 10,000 people will then become a fan of yours for life because they
Yeah.
realize there's more depth.
Yeah, and I there's a lot of there's a few artists that are out right now that I feel like do that with like zero care of what anyone thinks. And it's gonna be weird for me saying this name because I know a lot of people don't like him. But Post Malone did White Iverson, and people were like, "What? This dude with braids or whatever?" And a lot of people thought it was a bop. They're like, "Yeah, it's one hit. He's not doing anything." And he put his hands in pop, put his hands in rock, alternative, did rap, did this. And every single time he did that, I remember reading people just like, "Oh, he's trying to do this for this and do this for money, do whatever." And it's like, as much as people could dislike him or not enjoy what he's doing, he somehow is still relevant in music, and he still just puts out. You could tell he does everything because he just wants to, and he doesn't care. And he probably does. He probably gets a little hurt by some of the things, but to have it ice in your veins, to just be like, yeah, I know because I'm white making like black music that I'm looking like I look crazy. But he's just like, I love it. I don't know what else to tell you, but I love it, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it in the most like the way that I think is right, you know. And he works with so many artists. He does put a platform for a lot of artists that are not necessarily popping like that, but like it's just this, when I see like things like that, even Jay-Z, especially Jay-Z, was kind of like, he said it in his records, even when he did like the Common Sense line where he was just like, he goes, I did 5 mil, but I haven't rapped like Common Sense. Like it's just a talk of just like, like that it wasn't
when he
really
said it'd be like Talib Kweli.
yeah,
Nobody listened.
Nobody listen, and he just like, they find something, and just kind of like, I was purposely, you could tell that he was doing it for the sake that that's what he thought people wanted, and it was real and authentic to him. But the truth is that he got money and he started doing a lot better for himself. So his brain is not over there anymore. He has new things that he's thinking
it's
about.
What you want out of life.
It's you drop Kingdom
Success,
Come,
then you gotta do what you gotta do, and if you don't,
I remember
stay in your lane. But
I heard Kingdom Come, and I remember people saying it was garbage and all that. And I was like, nah, he's just talking about stuff I have no idea about because I don't make money like that. But he's being real with himself. And this is his reality. This is who he is now. So it's like, you can accept it or not, but it's true, and that's how that's why I said I have more leniency when it comes to music. And I try to have multiple perspectives on artists and try to get that, because it's very hard. I think it's extremely hard in music to really stay relevant and stay, I see what, even people, again, Drake is another one where it's just like, he does, a lot of people would say, oh, he like steals from other artists or whatever, and from the sounds, and that may be true, but you can tell he's constantly hungry to stay where he's at and be comfortable, and he's yet to lose who he is in a lot of ways, and it's like, that has to be admirable for some people. Like I know it's hard.
I'll give you another example. Jack Harlow.
Yo, bro, don't get me started on Jack Harlow.
But that track he has, first of all, he stole it. I'm gonna tell you, look straight in the camera. He stole that flow from Just Low. He stole Just Low's flow. And Just Low just has a new track out, Six Flags. Check it out.
I will.
But he stole that from Just Low, and because if you listen to any other song Jack Harlow has, it doesn't sound like that song on the radio.
Like, what's popping?
Huh?
What's popping?
Yeah.
Okay.
No other song he has that flow. Like that, the way he raps in that song. No other step. But he made that song, and it got remixed, and it got everything else.
Yeah.
And now people go and listen to everything else Jack Harlow has, whether you like him or don't like him. He had that one track. Post Malone, White Iverson had that track.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously, Post Malone, Sunflower, and everything else. He does a lot of like more pop stuff now. But
yeah, he does.
I mean, he's getting paid, and it's really, do you want to be creative or do you want to be rich?
Right.
I say be both. Like, have that track. You released that song a long time ago, King Kong, and you know what? It was catchy. You could have easily put that on the radio. I mean, you would have had to license some stuff, but you could have easily put that on the radio, and it would have played. It would have played over and over and over again. Whereas Penny Dreams, as much as it has a huge fan base, it wasn't really a radio song.
Yeah.
And in order to get perfect example, you hooked me with one, I went and listened to the rest, and it is what it is. And now here we are 8 years later, and I'm still following everything you do. And like I said, I couldn't be more proud of you, bro. Like the fact that you're back and doing what you love to do, and whether it's 2 tracks, 3 tracks a year and then you disappear, or if you just keep on grinding for the rest of your time, man, you always have a fan in me, and I'm super excited to see what you do next.
If you have a PO box or like a mail you want me to send you, I'm gonna tell you something I haven't revealed to the world yet. I low-key for the last few months been working on a clothing line, very small, limited run that I'm gonna take all the proceeds, and they're gonna go to like this mental health awareness thing that I have going, and it's gonna tie into the blue part of my name with feeling blue, and
give me a shirt, I'll wear it on the air.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you that shirt, hat, all that. Like I'm doing something. It's gonna be very it's not gonna be too crazy. I wanted to just do something really subtle and yeah. But yeah, again, like I have my hands and everything. I've never touched anything like this before, but
I've dabbled in it. It's a lot.
yeah, it's a
I've
lot.
definitely wanted to do a clothing line for DCXIV for a long time. It was
It's a
my
lot.
passion. It's a lot.
Yeah, and for anyone listening, when I said I was a big fan of Jack Harlow, I saw this kid come up from the beginning. I'm talking about all the way back, like before Gazebo. Like I remember knowing Nemo Al-Qaeda, and he also was like rolling with Jack Harlow as well. And he did a lot of his songs in his older projects are very storytelling and are really about his life and his come up. It was so great. It's weird seeing his last project. I if he, hopefully he doesn't hear this, he probably will. His last album I wasn't a big fan of. It got
I think you're giving my
really
show a little
poppy.
bit too much credit, but we'll see.
But it was a little too I like all the pop tracks and I like my like I like those ignorant tracks for sure, like those are fun to me, but he didn't have a lot of interest, a lot of storytelling that kind of exceed from him, so definitely a little different. So he's going a different path, but I'm not hating on it. I think it's great. He's doing really well for
All
himself
evolution.
and it's all love, like but I gotta check out that dude you told me about.
JUSLO.
I gotta check that out.
You ever play 2K?
Yeah.
Not this year, but I think last year he was on the soundtrack.
Really?
And if you ever follow TikTok, he was the one that actually invented the 3-word freestyle.
Really?
All these people that do the 3-word freestyle, it's because he did it first. So he has an entire set of videos. He deletes them a lot too because he's an artist.
Is he doing well right now? Like is he doing
I don't
well
know
for
if he's
himself?
doing financially well. He's definitely getting more acknowledgement via TikTok. I know
But it seems like
he just moved out
everyone
to
around
LA,
him
so
is doing better. It sounds like the way you're saying it's like a lot of people around him took what he had and like
well, I've
done.
even seen some famous rappers do the 3-word
Yeah.
freestyle, and yeah. But if you go from the roots of that, he was the one that started it.
Wow.
He got a lot of play on TikTok because of it, and now he's back to doing more songs and stuff like that. So we'll see where it goes. Um, like most artists, you wish them success and hope they keep blowing up. He
Yeah.
had Wristwatch, I think was his song on 2K, if I'm right. But yeah, if you listen, especially, I mean, if you go on TikTok and listen to 3-word freestyle, listen to the flow he raps all single one of
Mm-hmm.
those TikTok videos. Every single one of those is the flow that Jack Harlow used on Just Poppin'.
Wow.
And like you said, I've listened to Jack Harlow for a long time too, and not a long time, a couple years.
Yeah.
And I never heard him do a song like Just Poppin' before he did it.
I think the closest was maybe Sundown flow wise, but it wasn't like what's popping. No, it really isn't in a way. I wouldn't say so. I agree with you.
Yeah, but go ahead and go listen to Just Slow. That you'll see right the moment you see one of his freestyles on TikTok, you'll see it's that flow. And he's been doing this now for a year or two, probably before Just Poppy came out. But he's been rapping and he's got songs and tracks out for a few years now. He used to be part of a group and now he's doing his own thing. But yeah,
it's funny because I just started. I'm a big fan right now. I've been like everyone looks at me like I'm crazy when I say this with Baby Keem. Like I learned this project and I'm like, this is wild. This is like if
not
Kendrick
familiar.
was
You
to
got to
go.
send me a link to that.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. He's like he reminded me of Kendrick a lot. Turns out he's Kendrick's cousin, and Kendrick's actually ghostwritten some of his songs. And if you could find it here or there, oh man, like there's something special there, and I'm looking forward to that. But he's another artist who I think a lot of people were just like who really shut off and were like, nah, he ain't going anywhere. He's actually doing pretty well for himself. So I'm looking forward to that.
So before I let you get out of here, dragged you on for quite a bit, like every episode of the Certified Podcast for those who've been listening. Now 2 years strong, season 2, we go off the rails and we just kind of keep talking. So before I get out of here, what's next for you? What do you got you're working on right now?
Right now I have a song that I'm going to be releasing really soon. And I usually don't do this, but I'm going to do it for this podcast. I have a song coming out called Too Late with Corey Gassette. It's great. It's fantastic. He kills it. I rewrote my verse like 4 times. So I'm really trying to, it's done. It's done. I'm actually going to mix. We're going to mix it sometime this week. I'm going to send it back to him and see what he thinks. And, so I have that. I wasn't going to shoot. I did shoot a video for Tyler Durden. Didn't love it. Then decided I wasn't going to do it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it because I had this vision in my head that I got to get out. I'm still also doing. I'm gonna start doing reviews again for older movies that I haven't seen and kind of do reactions to them. But I really want to like have fun with it, and it's gonna be bonkers. It's gonna be really off the
That actually is
wall.
probably a really good idea for the older movies because people can't really
Yeah,
criticize. Like people won't be as
too
harsh with
hypercritical.
the new
Yeah,
movies. Yeah, they'll be more entertained by it and not giving you the negative like bullshit that weighs you
yeah.
down.
Yeah, so that's it. And then the last thing would be like the clothing thing. Like it's only gonna be like a shirt and a hat starting off there, and we'll see how it goes. But it's been something I want to do.
You
I've
said it's
always
gonna be called
wanted to.
Blue.
It's gonna be called right now. Like we're going with Feeling Blue, and the artwork is really gonna kind of symbolize that in a lot of ways, but not in like in a very subtle way. It's gonna be represented. But yeah, there's something I tell you honestly. I've always dreamed of like making a lot of money and doing all this, and then like supporting foundations, going into like charities, and I've always wanted to do things like that. And I've always been waiting for like, all right, I gotta make it to do this kind of thing. I'm like, I'm done with that. Like I'm like, I need this is my bucket list. Like I need to do something special that doesn't involve me really.
Like you said
Um,
earlier, take one step.
yeah. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And even if 10 people were to buy whatever I put out there, like I just need to start it. I want to feel good about what I'm doing, and I just thought that was a good way. So that's it for now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, especially when you get the clothing line, let me know. I mean, you don't even have to send it to me for free. I'd be happy to buy one.
I
I love
appreciate that.
supporting my friends and my people that I have been interacting that have wrote. Look, let's be real. It's not just me supporting you. You've rode with me just as long. Anytime I've ever needed anything, you were there. Every time I hit you up, you've been responsive. So, people that supported me throughout the years, man, I give it back 110%. So definitely, definitely let me know what's going on with that. Keep me in the loop with that because I definitely want to rock a Philly Blue shirt on the air and give you whatever. If it's 10 people, if it's 1,000 people, that's 10 more people, seeing what you got. And, like I said, everybody definitely follow Jorel Blu. It's at Jorel Blu. I'll put the show notes and everything, but at Jorel Blu on pretty much every platform, right?
Yeah.
It's not spelled differently or anything
No.
funky. Go on his SoundCloud page. He has the tracks. He has a couple of videos on his YouTube page. Like I said, all those links will definitely be in the show notes. Haven't written show notes for Certified for a while, so the episode might come out a little later tonight, probably around. If we're recording this during the afternoon, it'll probably be out this evening, Wednesday night. Worst case tonight or Thursday morning, but I'm trying to get everything out the same day, which is why I'm recording it early in the day. So when all the madness of the wife and the daughter and everybody coming home, I can just edit without having to like record anything. I was trying to be quiet, but unfortunately, I do apologize to the audience for my the landscaping people outside my community. Decided now was the time that they wanted to clean everything up when they usually do it on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays. But trying to plan everything. It's all a work in progress.
From my end, it sounded great. Like I heard it here or there, but it wasn't that bad.
I
So
can hear it on mine because
oh, you
obviously,
could. I got copy. Oh, that's right. That's right.
I mean, also harshest critic, right? I hear everything,
Yeah,
even
for
if you're
sure,
not
for
paying
sure.
attention to it. I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
I hear it. It's kind of gone now. They're kind of further down the block, but I just moved to Tampa, Florida, so they got to do the grass like every day.
How do you like that transition, real quick?
I love it. I love it. I lived in DC for most of my life. I've bounced around a couple times, but in today's environment, like I said, not getting political, but today's environment, also, living in a big city, you're in the Bronx, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a better way of life.
Mm-hmm.
You get out to some of these, like, I don't want to call them B-level cities, but definitely not the metropolises of like a New York, DC, LA, Chicago, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa's a great, like, up before COVID, it was the third largest growing market in the country. So it's heading in that direction, but at the same time, it still has a warm feeling. Like I go to the mailbox and people say, "Hey, how are you doing today?" Even if they don't know you. You're walking the dog and somebody's like, "Hey, how are you today?" Even if they don't know you. Like at first, it kind of catches you off guard being a city guy, but eventually, it's a good feeling. And once you kind of put your guard down a little bit, it feels good. And the lower cost of living and everything doesn't hurt either. And
We're making a similar transition as well.
I'm on the east side of Tampa, so it's still like an hour to the beach, but that's way closer than it was when I was living in DC. So
for sure.
my wife and daughter are happy. I'm happy.
That's great, man.
Money in the bank. So not complaining, enjoying life. I'm not rich, so please sponsors get a hold of me. But it's been a good transition despite COVID. We haven't gone out and done as much stuff as we want to do. Obviously, we have every theme park within an hour of us, especially with Orlando being right there, and Busch Gardens here in Tampa, and SeaWorld in Orlando. Like, everything is right within an hour of us in any direction. I can't wait to get my daughter out to all that stuff, and you get discounts being a Florida resident and everything else, so it'll be way cheaper. But
yeah,
no, I'm excited. I hope things start getting a little bit back to normal next year, whatever that means. I don't know what any of the future holds. None of us do.
Yeah.
But I hope slowly but surely we do start getting back to some sense of normalcy. But wear your mask so we can get back there quicker. If we had all just worn it for 3 or 4 weeks in the beginning, we wouldn't be here now.
It's never lax, man. It has never gone away. Still here.
No, they're shutting down like boroughs in New York right now, or communities. So
certain zip codes are being shut
down.
And
Florida's no better because Florida lifted all the restrictions, but now it's more dangerous. So it's really, we talked about this on the other podcast. It's a personal choice. I'm not going to tell you how you live your life, but when you're around other people, put a mask on so you're not, like, if you're a big, strong person,
that's cool.
Be strong for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
You can handle it. Fine. You'll
great.
Shake it
Good
off.
for you.
Done. But
exactly.
You know, if you're so strong, be strong for the person next to you because they're not as strong as you are. So look at it that way. You can look at it like the hero complex, then people tend to look at it a little differently.
Big facts. I absolutely agree.
I definitely dragged you on long enough today, way over the hour I promised you. So I do appreciate you sticking it out.
That's cool.
Had a great conversation with you, man. You are more than welcome to come back on anytime. You want to launch that clothing line, launch your next song, all that stuff, please feel free. Come on, holler at me. I'll get you on anytime.
Thank you. This was a pleasure for real, man.
No, I appreciate you, man. Like I said to all the people, everything will be in the show notes. It'll all probably be on YouTube later tonight, on the website as well, dcxiv.com. Check out Jorel Blu at all the social networks at Jorel Blu. He posts just about everything from all aspects of his life, and he's as real as it gets. You love him, you hate him. He is what he is, and quite honestly, he's entertaining. He is naturally gifted, and I've never seen somebody more naturally gifted at so many different things, whether it's photography, directing, and his music. That was the reason why we got him on. I don't want to get copyright infringement or get any videos you're taking down or mine taken down based on both of us having a song on, but definitely there will be links to all his music, and you saw some of the videos I played in the background. He's creative. His mind is just meant for this. So
wow. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. This was the Certified Podcast. We are back. This is season 2, episode 1. It is in the books. It's a wrap, and that's it. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.